So we are going to be talking about constructivism, cognitive load theory, and multimedia theory. We're going to start off with constructivism, and we're going to go over to this site. And basically, what constructivism is a theory based on observation and scientific study about how people learn. It says that people construct their own understanding and knowledge of the world through experiencing things and reflecting on those experiences. So, when you're in the classroom, the constructivist view of learning can point towards a number of different teaching practices. A lot of teachers and instructors will use the different types of active techniques like doing experiments, or when you're in higher education, having a debate, having a discussion about what types of things are going on so that when you are in a test situation or having to recall some sort of information, you have something that you can come back to and you have a real world type of scenario that you can bring your brain back to help you remember that information. So we're now going to move into the cognitive load theory. Um, And basically, what this means is that this theory builds upon the widely accepted model of human information processing. So, it describes the process of having three main parts: sensory memory, working memory, and long term memory. Since this time of this model, many researchers have added to our understanding this concept, but the basic model still remains the same. So that means that we have incoming information, which turns into sensory memory, which then turns into working memory, and then turns into long-term memory. So there's all of these other types of things that are in between, like rehearsal, encoding, retrieval, and then just stuff that's flat out forgotten. And there's this example that I thought was a really great way to help understand really what this was, so I'm just going to read it off of this website for you. So it says, for example, if you asked a student to critically examine various economic systems while also defining and making sense of what an economic system was and how they worked, you'd be overloading short-term memory. Because the student doesn't yet understand economic systems, they would need to consistently access their short-term memory while learning. The concept of economic systems is not yet in their long-term memory, so as they create knowledge, their short-term memory becomes cluttered because it is the primary ground zero for the learning. So moving over lastly to the multimedia theory, um, this basically is the principle that people learn more deeply from words and pictures than from words alone. But you need to be careful with this because Meyer's cognitive theory of multimedia learning presents that the idea that the brain does not interpret multimedia presentations of words, pictures, and auditory information in a mutually exclusive fashion. These types of information and presentation of that information has to be selected and organized dynamically in order for it to make logical mental constructs to the people learning the information.